students. Today's topic is Holzer method applied to spring mass system. Okay. Now Holzer method is basically an approximation method or iterative method or a trial and error method for finding the natural frequencies of multi-degree of freedom system. Okay. Now multi-degree of freedom system can be torsional systems where there is a shaft and number of rotors are installed on the shaft, or it is a spring mass systems, that means there are springs and masses. So today we are going to apply this Holzer method to this spring mass system. So consider a spring mass system over here. So this is mass M1, spring having stiffness K1. This is mass M2, stiffness K2, and this is mass M3. Okay. So this is a spring mass system, and first we will see the Holzer method. Now this Holzer method it works on the principle of Holzer method is principle of Holzer method says sum of all the inertia forces is equal to 0. So the statement of the Holzer method principle says the sum of all the inertia forces is equal to 0, and we know that the inertia forces only acts on the masses. So first we try to find out the inertia forces to this system. So M1 displaces with x1, M2 displaces with x2, and M3 displaces with x3. So these are the three masses and three displacements. Here we are assuming that x1 is less than x2 is less than x3. So this is our assumption because at any instant of time we are considering that the displacements are in increasing order. Okay. Now the first mass. Now we will apply the inertia force. So now inertia force is given by m1 x1 double dot. So mass into acceleration, that is inertia force, and the inertia force m1 x1 double dot is equal to, now this force since the displacement of x2 is more than displacement of x1, so this spring force will apply in this direction. So the spring force will be K1 into x2 minus x1. So this is our equation number 1. Now the inertia force at M2 is given by M2 x2 double dot. Now this force will oppose the displacement of x2, so it will act in this direction, and so it will be minus K1 x2 minus x1, and this spring force will since the x3 displacement is more than x2 displacement, so this spring force will act in this direction, so it will be positive because it is in the direction of the displacement, so it is K2 into x3 minus x2. So this is equation number 2, and the inertia force at the third mass m3 x3 double dot is equal to, so there is only one force which is acting in the opposite direction to x3, so it will be minus K2 x3 minus x2. Okay. Now we know that xi is equal to xi sine omega t. So the response of these masses are also harmonic. The response of the masses are harmonic, and it is given by xi is equal to xi sine omega t. And if you find xi I, where I is equal to 1, 2, 3. So here 3 masses, so there will be the value of I will be 1, 2, 3. That means x1 is equal to x1 sine omega t, x2 is equal to x2 sine omega t, and x3 is equal to x3 sine omega t. Similarly, the acceleration or xi double dot, if you differentiate this expression 2 times with respect to t, then the answer would be minus xi omega square sine omega t. Now if you put these values xi and xi double dot in these equations, then equation 1 becomes, so this will be replace x1 double dot with minus x1 omega square sine omega t, so it becomes minus m1 x1 omega square sine omega t is equal to, this is k1 into x2 is x2 sine omega t minus x1 sine omega t. And if you take this sine omega t common, and this sine omega t and this sine omega t will get cancelled, and this minus sign will come to this side. So m1 x1 omega square is equal to minus k1 x2 minus x1. So this is equation number 4. Similarly, if you put these values in equation number 2, then equation 2 becomes m2 x2 omega square is equal to k1 x2 minus x1 minus k2 x3 minus x2. This is equation number 5, and this becomes m3 x3 omega square is equal to k2 x3 minus x2. So this is equation number 6. So if you add these 3 equations, then this side of equal to sign. So this side of equal to sign is m1 x1 omega square plus m2 x2 omega square plus m3 x3 omega square, and on the right side, now this k1 x2 minus x1, this is minus, so this will get cancelled, and minus k2 x3 minus x2 and plus k2 x3 minus x2, this will get cancelled. So on this side it will be 0, and on the left side can be written as xi equal to 1 to n or 1 to 3 mi xi omega square. Okay, so this is the principle on which this Holzer method works. Okay, so this is inertia force, and Holzer method says that the sum of the inertia forces is equal to 0. So here in this system there are 3 masses, that is why this expression is up to 3. If there are n number of masses, then it will be up to n. So this is the principle on which this Holzer method works. Now we will apply the Holzer method for solving a a multi-degree of spring mass system problem, and there we will see how this Holzer method is applied for finding the natural frequencies of a multi-degree spring mass system problem. Okay. So now we'll take one numerical, then we'll see. Now this is the numerical. So using Holzer method, find the first non-zero natural frequency of the spring mass system shown in figure. Now if you see this figure, then there are three masses M1, M2, M3, and there are three springs K1, K2 and K3. So that means there will be how many number of natural frequencies? So three masses, there are three natural frequencies. But the assumption of the Holzer method is that the first natural frequency we always assume as 0. Assume the first natural frequency as 0. So if you see the graph over here, so this is the inertia torque, inertia force. So inertia force versus the natural frequency, or say omega. Then its behavior is something like this. So there are 3 points where this curve intersects with the horizontal line. So horizontal line indicates the natural frequency, and we know that whenever the inertia force, the sum of inertia force is equal to 0, so that will give you the natural frequency. So this is 0. So this one is omega 1, that is first natural frequency, which will always be equal to 0. This is omega 2 and this is omega 3. So 3 masses, 3 natural frequency, out of which one we have considered as 0, and we need to find out the first non-zero natural frequency. That means we need to find out omega 2. Now we have assumed omega 1 as 0. Now we need to assume certain points in between omega 1 and omega 2, and this is how we need to reach up to omega 2. So first we consider it as 0.3. So first we assume omega is equal to 0.3. This is our wild assumption. There is no scientific basis for selecting the value of omega. This is a very trial and error kind of a method, and there is no scientific logic behind selecting these values. So you जैसे अंधेरे में तीर मारने जैसा है. ओके, तो मैंने यहाँ पे ओमेगा की वैल्यू 0.3 ये अज्यूम किया है. तो जो 0.3 है तो ओमेगा स्क्वायर का वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा? So omega square. So here this column name is omega square. So omega square is equal to 0.3 into 0.3 is 0.9. Now this is the first assumption. Then I have plotted this table. So this table, since this Holzer method works on the principle that the sum of the inertia forces is equal to 0. So we need to sum out the inertia forces. Now we know that inertia forces are given as m into x into omega square. So mx omega square is the inertia force. So here I have designed this table so that I will get the inertia forces. So inertia forces, the constituents of inertia forces is mx omega square. So omega square I have assumed here because this is what the Holzer says. So omega square is the first column name, then m, then I have multiplied both these columns, m into omega square, so this will give this column values m omega square, then the x displacement. Okay, and once I obtain this displacement, then I will multiply this value with this value, so I will get mx omega square. So omega square, m into omega square is here, x I will get from this column. When I multiply it, I will get mx omega square. Then summation, so I will do the cumulative summation. So summation of mx omega square. Then next is k, the stiffness, and then this is the inertia force upon stiffness. So this will give again a value of displacement over here, because force upon stiffness. So stiffness is nothing but force upon displacement. So force will get cancelled. So this term is basically a displacement. Okay. Now here I have drawn this table for 3 iterations. So how many iterations I require, I don't know, because till the value of summation of mx omega square 0 नहीं आता, तब तक मुझे ये iterations जो है वो continue करने हैं. लेकिन यहाँ पे मैंने एक 3 iterations के लिए टेबल बनाया है. हर iteration में मैंने 3 rows बनाया है, रो 1, रो 2 and रो 3. सेकेंड इटरेशन में भी रो 1, रो 2, रो 3. थर्ड इटरेशन में भी रो 1, रो 2, रो 3. तो यहाँ पे मैंने 3 रोज क्यों बनाया है? द लॉजिक और द रीजन बिहाइंड द 3 rows, because there are 3 masses. So m1, m2, m3. So there are 3 masses. That means there are 3 inertia forces. So had it been there were 4 masses, I would have drawn the 4 rows in every iteration. So depending upon the number of masses in the system, you need to draw the number of rows. Okay. So this thing is clear. So horizontal values are very much clear to you. Now we keep on assuming the value of omega, and we will find out, we will fill this table. Now I will fill certain values over here. So in the first iteration, omega square is 0.09. That means we have assumed the omega value as 0.3. Then the masses. Now here the masses are not given. So we assume m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to 1 kg. This is what we have assumed here. Okay. So m1, m2 and m3, all the 3 masses are equal. Similarly, k1 is equal to k2 is equal to k3 is equal to 1 Newton per meter. Okay. So these are the 2 assumptions that we have assumed over here, because the values are not given. So if the values are given that this is 1 kg, this is 2 kg, this is 1 kg, in that case we would have used the actual values, but since the values are not given, so here we have assumed m1, m2, m3 all are equal masses, and that is equal to 1 kg, and stiffnesses of the 3 springs are also equal, and that is equal to 1 Newton per meter. Now I will put the value here. So first mass is of 1 kg, so here it will be 1. The mass of the second is also 1, or rather I will do it later. So now omega square into 1. So omega square is 0.09 into 1. So this answer is 0.09. Now here the second assumption, the second important assumption of the Holzer method is that we always assume the initial displacement of the mass 1 is equal to 1. So this is the second assumption. So this assumption is problem specific, but according to the Holzer method there are 2 assumptions. First is we need to assume the value of natural frequency, trial value of natural frequency, and at the same time we need to assume the initial displacement of the mass 1 as unity. So here I will write down x as 1. Now mx omega square, these two values are multiplied, so answer will be 0.09. Then sum, so here there is only one value, so the summation is 0.09. Then value of k, the first value of k is k1 is equal to 1 Newton per meter, so again this is 1, and summation of mx omega square upon k, so this divided by 1, so our answer is 0.09. So this is basically a displacement. This is basically a displacement because the force upon stiffness is again force upon displacement, so force will get cancelled, so answer is displacement. So this is displacement. Okay. Now second row, the second mass is also 1 kg, so 0.09 into 1 is 0.09 x. Now here this x will be previous x minus this, so 1 minus 0.09, so the answer is 0.91. So answer is 0.91. Okay, so this minus the last value of the column, so this is the new displacement values. Now multiply this one and this one, so the answer is 0.0819. So 0.0819. Then the sum. Now here this is a cumulative value, so that means these two values are added together and write down in this place. Okay, so 0.09 plus 0.0819, so the answer is 0.1719. 0.1719. Okay. Now the value of k, so k2 value is also 1, and this divided by 1, answer is 0.1719. Now in third iteration, again the value of m3 is also 1, so this will give 0.09. Now the displacement value will be this value minus this value, so 0.91 minus 0.1719, so here the answer is 0.7381. So this is 0.7381. Now if you multiply it, then the answer is 0.0664. 0.0664. And now in the sum, add these two values together and write down in this place, so the answer is 0.2389. 2389. So, and this is 1 and this is 0.2389. So at the end I have obtained the summation of the inertia forces is equal to 0.2389, but we want the summation of the inertia forces to be 0 to be able to find out the second non-zero natural frequency. So here for 0.3, the value of the sum of the inertia forces obtained to be 0.23. Okay, that means we need to carry out the next iteration. So in the next iteration, I will assume the value to be 0.6. So next value is omega is equal to So omega is equal to 0.6. That means omega square is equal to 0.36. 0.036. So 0.36, right? Now again, the first mass is 1, so 0.36 into 1 is 0.36. Then initial value of x will always be 1, so this will be 0.36, and the sum is 0.36. This is 1, and this value divided by 1 is 0.36. Now second mass is also 1, then 1 into 0.36 is 0.36, then 1 minus 0.36 is equal to 0.64. Yes, and multiplication of 0.36 into 0.64 is 0.2304. So this is 0.2304, and if you add these two values, and write down over here, then the answer would be 0.5904. So this is 0.5904. Value of k is 1, so this is also 0.5904. Then third mass is 1, so 1 into 0.36 is 0.36, and this is 0.64 minus 0.59, so the answer is 0.0496. 0.0496. Yes, and multiplication of these two is 0.01755 or 85. And the summation of these two values will give the answer as 0.6082. This is 1, this is 0.6082. So at the end of the second iteration, we have obtained the summation of the inertia forces as 0.6082, and which is more than the previous summation of the inertia forces. That means here from the graph also we can see that this value is more than this value. So this is 0.6. That means we are going in correct direction, and if we further increase the value of omega, then the values get decreased and we actually get the sum of the inertia forces as 0. Now this time we will assume the omega value as 1. So omega square is equal to 1. So here the mass is 1. So 1 into 1, answer is 1. The initial displacement we always assume 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. Summation is 1. Stiffness is 1. And 1 divided by 1 is 1. Now the second mass is 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. Now this is previous value minus this value. So 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So this is 0. So 0 into 1 is 0. And 0 plus 1, answer is 1. So here it is 1. And 1 is 1. Now third mass is also 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. Now this value is 0 minus this value is 1. So answer is minus 1. And minus 1 into 1, answer is minus 1. And minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So this is 1, this is 0. So here we obtain the inertia force. Inertia force equal to 0. Sum of the inertia force equal to 0. That means this frequency is the first natural frequency. Okay, so first non-zero natural frequency is equal to 1 radian per second. Okay, 1 radian per second. Now to find out the second natural frequency, second non-zero natural frequency, or rather third natural frequency of the system, you keep on increasing the value of omega. Now this time you will get the negative value of the summation, and then you will reach again up to 0, and that will be your the third natural frequency of this system. So this is how the Holzer method works. This is completely an iterative method, and you keep on taking the trial values of omega, and you need to find out the summation of the inertia forces, and the moment you get the summation as 0, that will be the natural frequency of the system. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching this. Thanks.